Hey guys, welcome to a very random podcast. If you're watching us for the very first time, which you are, welcome to a podcast. I'm with my host, co-host here, Brian Tong. How you doing, man?
We're like, is this a guys movies for guys who like movies? Is that what this is? Something like that. Techies talk movies.
It is. Techies talk movies. There we go. Yeah, see, we were trying to get a name for the podcast, and Brian, in his infinite wisdom, said it. I just love it. I love it. The man's a genius.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. So, Brian, what are we discussing today?
So every time a new trailer drops that is somewhere in the geek, pop culture, comic books, action realm, you and I always have thoughts. We almost always disagree. So we thought, why not put this on a video and talk about it? And we both love comics, just to let you all know. We love this stuff, but we also have strong opinions on this stuff. So the Superman teaser trailer came out, and so we just started like knocking our heads back and forth. Oh, he had to flash the Action Comics just to be like, guys, is that a reprint or the real? No, yeah, that's a poly. That ain't the real.
If it was a real thing, there was no way I would be holding it like this. It would be like I would bring the camera closer into my safe room that has liquid nitrogen floors and all that stuff. So there's no way.
So we're here to talk about the Superman teaser trailer and our thoughts from two guys who just love movies like this. So I think you should kind of lay the groundwork and go from there.
Okay, so I was thinking, we could do one or two things. We could watch the trailer again, just watch it quickly.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we can talk and we can go like, okay, what's it? So we're gonna watch the trailer and you guys can join us here and watch it at the same time. And I'm just gonna move to my PC, go back and start. I'm holding my comments in, I swear. Brian is having a good time. You can see the excitement on his face.
I liked what I saw, but let's see what you said.
I thought it was okay. My reaction to Brian when he sent me it, we started talking about it, I said it was meh. And not meh as in being it's a bad trailer, meh as it didn't do anything for me. So this trailer has been a bit divisive, which is good for marketing, by the way. A lot of people who love it, and there are a lot of people who are like, And I'm in that camp, but I'm in the camp for reasons that most people don't realize. Let's start off with some of the basics. The first shot of the trailer, I didn't like it. It's an iconic shot, him landing, but I'm a comic book nerd and I know that anyone who beats Superman to be bloody, that crater would be massive. It's some of those technical things that I tend to go through. But that's just me, that's me. Second is also crypto. I'm not a pet person. I actually like crypto, but I didn't like that scene. I didn't like him running away. That's how I took it. Superman was running away because he called Crypto. Crypto came to save him and he says, take me home. You just got beat. You're Superman. Who else is supposed to take care of this problem? So to me, Superman was running away. The rest of the trailer looked like a lot of montage, which you see the course correction from the Snyderverse in the sense that they are trying to show that he's saving people, even though that was there in the Snyderverse, but a lot of people just didn't want to pay attention. And I think, to me, the Snyderverse is more relevant now than this movie, but that's a story for another day. The costumes, this is where I have a big problem with James Gunn's costume department. Superman's costume looks better. I'm not a fan of the style, but it's fine. Like, it's cool. It's not a problem. Everybody else's costume looks horrible. Now, it could be by design, but the only person who looks more than halfway decent is Mr. Terrific. And then the henchmen. So if you go to that scene where Mr. Terrific is using his T-spheres to make it like a force field, and you see all the henchmen, you can see all their suits are flapping up. It's very typical from a Marvel movie, especially James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It's standard. I just don't like it. It takes me away from it. And I didn't actually freeze frame. I just watched it and I was like, well, let me go back. Oh, okay. And I know I'm going to see a ton of that stuff in the movie. The kaiju looks like a Guardians-esque type kaiju as some. Again, it just feels a little bit too bubbly for me. It's like they're going all the way on the other side to try and rectify things. But that's why I said it was just very meh, and I didn't feel like, if I really want to get that warm, fuzzy feel, if I go back and watch Superman the movie, it doesn't play the same way as this trailer does. It just plays like a regular movie. It's just that it's a very distinct time capsule, which I feel like they're trying to recreate. And I don't think it's going to necessarily hit the way they want it to.
Okay, those are some nice initial thoughts. I can tell that clearly when you watch comic book movies, everything needs to be very physics accurate. The funny thing is, I didn't even think about that crater. So I will give you credit for that, because if Superman hits the ground, if he bleeds, do you bleed? Yes, Superman, according to this movie, Superman does bleed. But also,
he does.
It better be like an alpha level threat for that to happen, right? Alpha level threat for that to happen. Yes. I'm going to address a couple of things you said and then kind of give my own take. The James Gunn formula is always to have some sort of fuzzy little pet creature to warm the hearts of the audience, to break the tension for comedic relief. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. So this is almost like par for the course. As a pet lover, and seeing Crypto there, not cryptocurrency, but seeing Crypto the dog there, I liked it. I will tell you, when I first saw the teaser trailer, let's remember, Enabong, this is a teaser. This is not a trailer. This is a teaser. So to your point, you're not going to get everything. This is a teaser. Hold on. This is a teaser. So the music, very derivative, but it gave me a little bit of the feels. I got a little, not full goosebumpy, but I got a little goosebumpy. I recall back to the Richard Donner films, and I'm like, oh, like I hear the music. And so did they full on take me there? No, it's a teaser. But initially, at least what they put out there, I'm not all in, but I'm definitely buying.
Okay. You brought something up with the music. That's another point that I didn't like. Here's the thing. The original Superman movie, who scored that? That was Star Wars composer as well.
John Williams?
John Williams scored the original Superman. And what I liked with Man of Steel is that they went away from it and they made their own score. Mm-hmm. Because to me, it also ties the movie with it. It makes me go, this is this movie. I like original score. I love scores in movies. And I don't blame them for trying to remix this. Maybe for the trailer, it's cool. Hopefully that's not in the movie, right? I hope it's the trailer. It's more for the trailer, which is fine. But for the movie, what I would like to see is an original. Has no notes from any, because the teaser the day before had notes, and that's from, it's supposed to be part of the score for the movie, had notes of Hans Zimmer and had notes from John Williams, which is cool. But again, no, I want you to do your own thing. I want you to show that this is your own universe. And this is something that I feel like James Gunn, and I don't blame him, but I don't think most people realize this, is that if you really want to make these universes work, especially now that you've told the audiences that this is a multiverse, right? Treat it like a multiverse all the way through. You're doing your own thing with Superman, you have Crypto, you have that stuff. The score also needs to feel like it's that world and not like, well, it reminds me of this here or that
Agreed.
There, type of thing. And I'm fine with that. I think one of the things that this trailer doesn't do well, at least for me, is that when you're trying to set up Superman in this world, and I go through the trailer, I'm seeing a lot of this world, and I'm seeing a very well-established Superman who is not as confident as the other ones. I'm just going through I'm not even comparing him to Cavill. Because in this movie, already from the trailer, he's told us that this world has superheroes. Superman's been there for a while because it's a Fortress of Solitude. He has Crypto flying around. So he's established enough. There's the kid with the flag that says, "Save me, Superman." So he's well known. And in this well-known universe, he's having issues, which in all iterations of Superman isn't usually the case. But I guess you could say that's some of the story here. But it also looks like he's having issues doubting himself as well, to some degree. Which, not to sound like a purist, but I feel that's more of Superman in the early years than Superman in the later years or in his middle years, per se.
Great point.
It's kind of like Batman.
Great point.
It's like Pattinson's Batman. I'm not a fan of that movie, but I give him a lot of credit because I go, he's year 2, whatever, it's fine, cool. You know, but by the time you reach year 5, year 6, come on.
I agree.
You gotta learn your lesson.
I think I think you make a great point about the point in time that Superman is established in the universe, because here's the thing that, I mean, none of us are making these feature films and none of us are casting these characters. And I'm going to tell you what bothers me the most about this film, or just in general. I get it. James Gunn is putting his own fingerprint on Superman. You had the perfect Superman. You had Henry Cavill. Physically, Henry Cavill is Superman. Now, no shade to David Corenswet, who's this Superman. He looks scrawny. He's not built like a real Superman. He looks kind of thinnish in some situations. Like, Superman is
real Superman. He's not. That's the new tagline. He's not built like a real Superman.
He's not. And so that takes me out of it a little bit, right? That, I get it, where you have a more vulnerable Superman. I'm not hating on it, but to me, as a studio, it was their duty to let the audience know that, look, the audience is savvy enough to be like, we know that for the record, I loved Man of Steel, but we know that some of the scripts and some of the past movie failures were not Henry Cavill's fault. And so I would have personally liked two of them to make amends, fix whatever they needed to get through for the sake of the fans and the franchise, and bring back Henry Cavill as Superman. I think this trailer feels significantly different if Cavill is the Superman in it. I'm just saying. And so I can't hold on to that because we've moved on, but I definitely feel there was a shot of, I think, when we don't know exactly what's happening, but Superman is getting yelled at by, the citizens, and I think they're throwing things at him. And that was a moment where that Superman, he just looked like a regular dude on the street doing cosplay, okay? That's how I felt. So,
Thank you.
So there's a disconnect between Christopher Reeve was Superman physically, visually. Henry Cavill, I do not know, and it's up to Warner Brothers if they couldn't get Henry Cavill to find the next Henry Cavill, okay? I cannot think of a more perfect actor than Henry Cavill for Superman in this generation, 10 years ago, 10 years forward. So that's probably the biggest thing that takes me out of this trailer. My biggest criticism, and that's a studio thing that they should have figured it out. And I'm still gonna watch this movie, but whew, that one's tough.
I will watch the movie, but I'm not watching it in theaters. I decided.
Oh, wait! You're not gonna watch it in theaters. You're not gonna watch it in theaters.
No.
Bro, I'm gonna fly out to New York. I'm gonna fly out to New York so we go see it together in a theater.
I may watch it. I may watch it weeks later, but I'm not going first time, which I always do. But to be fair, Superman Returns, I never saw that in theaters. That is, to me, the worst Superman movie. Okay, it's slightly better than Superman 4 with Nuclear Man. That was terrible. But
yeah, I mean,
I agree with you when it comes to that scene. It looked like it threw me out because it reminded me of the other scene in BVS where, they had the montage in BVS where they had Neil deGrasse Tyson and they were talking about Superman. And it was a montage of Superman saving people, doing things which people complained about but never understood that process. That's why I said, that movie or that series of movies makes more sense now. Because in that movie, the question was, is there a Superman? Do we need a Superman? Superman is doing all these things, and you're in a world where people hate and love him for completely different things. And we live in a world now where social media can divide things in so many ways. That's why I found those movies very poignant. I think it was ahead of its time. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have something fun and bubbly, but I feel like this is specifically made to be fun and bubbly rather than it being made to tell a story.
Oh, I hope not. Oh my gosh. The way you just said that freaked me out.
I think James Gunn can weave it. I don't think he's a bad director to not weave it.
Yeah.
But I think it doesn't have a story point or a soul. So if you look at it from the first Superman movie, that idea of that movie was just purely introducing Superman and you believing the man can fly. That tagline really ties in. As a kid, I was like, yes. And then when you go to, say, Superman Returns didn't have anything tied to it other than the fact that they were trying to connect it loosely to Superman 2 as a sequel. That's why that movie just completely flopped. And then you have Man of Steel, which was basically a story of two fathers, and how would you raise an alien on this planet? And it's very, to me, it's the best question possible. Superman showed up today, how would you react? And I think that's what that is. But the other thing I was going to ask you in this trailer was Lex. I am not sold on Lex, and I'll tell you why. I think he looks the part. He's fine. I'm going back to his body of work as Nicholas Hoult. He's a good actor, yeah. But there's something he brings out that doesn't bring out Lex to me. Maybe, will he be better than Eisenberg? Probably, but Eisenberg also played his Lex completely differently, and he played Elon Musk perfectly. That's who he had as Lex. I'm not calling Elon Musk Lex Luthor, but that's literally what he played. And then, to me, my best Lex Luthor is, what's his name, from Smallville. That, to me, still the hands down.
Oh, Michael, shoot.
Michael Rosenberg.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he, to me, is the best. Other than, the one from the animated series, but Michael Rosenberg really hit Lex up. I'm not too convinced, but we'll see, that part. But then again, going back to, so what do you think of Lex?
Well, I think the small scenes that we saw him in, I thought he was convincing for me. I mean, again, this is a teaser trailer. We got maybe 10 seconds of Lex. I think the Nicholas Hoult casting is awesome. And here's the thing. When we evaluate an actor from his body of work before being in a movie like this, by no means am I comparing these two, for the record. But Heath Ledger, Dark Knight. I can't remember how everyone thought that was the worst casting ever before.
I was there.
Right. Everyone did. So to me, Nicholas Hoult looks the part. The small glimpses that I saw looked good, but again, we have to watch a full hour and a half, 2 hour movie to see. But I'm gonna let the TBD. But I liked what I saw.
Okay, I mean that it's fair. I agree. It's fair with you.
Right.
Okay, what about the other characters?
Mr. Terrific looked like a badass. Mr. Terrific looked like a badass.
Okay, that definitely was there, and I think I saw an interview. James Gunn said that Mr. Terrific is very crucial in this movie. At least he's going to have a big part to play. So that's cool. Guy Gardner, what do you think?
Well, he was wearing like a white suit and whatnot, which was, I mean, Guy Gardner in the comics, that haircut is so iconically bad, and it comes off campy maybe in today's era, but it is comic accurate, so I thought it was pretty awesome. I didn't like it. Not because it's coming. I felt like, to me, it looked like a hairpiece more than a cut. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I wished it was they gave him a bad haircut that fit him as a bad haircut.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. It's more than anything else. The costume, I mean, I get it that they're all sponsored by Maxwell Lord, which is why they all wear the same thing, but it still looks very CW. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. That's a good point.
It looks, Hawkgirl looks absolutely trash. I'm sorry. I feel bad for her because I'm not even trying to compare this, but then you look at Black Adam with Hawkman in there. Hawkman looked absolutely glorious.
Yeah,
whether you like the movie or
not,
I'm just talking about costume design. This is what I'm like, why are you, I don't get it. I don't. It's kind of like you look at Thor, for instance. Thor's costume in the Marvel movies. Thor 1, you could tell, like, they're just trying it out, low budget, we get it. We're trying to put Thor out there. By the time you get to the Avengers movies, or even like the recent Thor movie, his costume looks decked out. And then going back to what you said about the actor, David Cornsworth, Thor looks like, he's always looked like Thor. He's just been maturing as Thor, kind of like Hugh Jackman of Wolverine. He looks like he is trying to be Superman. I'll tell you what my friend said when they cast Cornsworth as Superman. He said he looks kind of like Henry Cavill, so it's kind of some of the similarities. And then somebody else one of my friends was like, well, but don't they always cast all of them to kind of look like Christopher Reeves? I'm like, Henry Cavill doesn't look anywhere close to Christopher Reeves. It's almost a deviation. But then my first friend said, he looks like they tried to cast Henry Cavill's son. So in his mind, he's treating him like John Kent. That's how he's treating this character. He's like, I've just decided he's John Kent, and that's the story. Call it a day. So that's what he kind of comes off as in the first place. But it's an interesting take. Is there anything else from the trailer that you found interesting or
I think, well,
stood out
yeah,
for you?
I think they leaned. I think one thing we didn't really talk about, the actress for Lois Lane. We can't pull much. There's a lot of hand holding, emotional glances, but from how she looked, I think is she from is it Magnificent Miss Maisel? What movie?
Miss Maisel, yes.
Yeah.
She's a great actress. See,
Yeah.
this is where I use past work again. I think she would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think
Good.
she will be fantastic as Lois Lane. Although I would say that my wife does not like any of the Lois Lanes that have been cast. Look, she look wise, she does not like any of them. I give you her analogy. She goes, Superman is this hunk of a man, and they're giving it average women next to him. That's how she puts it.
Come on. We've seen this in couples all the time. Enabong, your wife is amazing. You're the average dude. So it's we've seen this trope all through humanity. So
I fell into that one. I fell right into that one.
I felt that's a softball, bro. But you know what, the other thing from the trailer that I wanted to pull is that I can tell that James Gunn is building a universe even within this. There were like references to Gorilla Grodd on the newspaper. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Again, this is for comic nerds. They're like, oh, there's this character. We will see how it all comes together. It's so hard. Again, it's a teaser trailer, but we can pull things from it. The fact that we're talking about it and we're having a good time talking about it is a good thing. I think there's definitely interest. But the biggest takeaway from this, this is the biggest and the most important movie for Warner Brothers and DC, and I don't know how long. This is so crucial to them. This cannot flop, in my opinion. This cannot flop. If there wants to be any hope,
it cannot flop.
Right? It cannot.
No, I don't think it will flop, but I don't think the movie will be gangbuster. I don't think it's going to be a $1 billion movie. It depends on how the other trailers look like and how it's reviewed. And it's also going up against Fantastic Four as well.
Yeah.
And trust me, Feige is putting all his efforts on that one. And I don't go against, Daddy Pedro Pascal, because that man is on a roll. He's on a roll right now.
So let me jump in real quick here. Fantastic Four, everyone has underestimated that story because it has had so many horrible movies. They are comic books' first family, and you can do a lot of dynamics that you haven't felt in any movie before because of these family relationships that can cut deeper. They're going to pull on the heartstrings. They're going to play with the drama between them. And just the fact that the setting is this retro future, oh, come on, man. Come on.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And I think they've learned from multiverse, this whole multiverse saga, and they're going to fine tune it. That's something that I wish James Gunn would have done with the Snyderverse and everything DC. And to me, that's where my biggest gripe for this whole with Warner Brothers is that I don't think they've learned their lesson. The reason I say that is one of the things James Gunn mentioned was that, people asking him, like, what's coming in from the old universe, to this. He said, everything in Peacemaker, all to the point where they meet the Justice League at the end credits. And I'm like, okay, now you're picking and choosing. Instead of you understanding and building. So one of the ideas I had, Gunn, if you ever watch this, whenever you see it, this is what I think you should have done, or you could probably still do it. DC Comics, there are two people who can technically go through universes. One is the Flash, we know that quite well, because he's done it in the show. The other person who you could use is Booster Gold. And I wish DC or even Marvel does this. I wish when this movie starts, we just see a title that says Earth 2 or Earth whatever. Just letting us know that this is his own new universe. So anyone who's coming in and feeling like, oh, what about, Superman from the other movie or this? No. This is its own universe. But what I would have wanted was a way to wrap up the Snyderverse. Even with the Flash movie, at the very end of the Flash movie, we had that terrible end credit sequence with George Clooney. Instead of Clooney, you cast your own Booster Gold and have him show up in that world. Because Booster Gold has this time traveling thing and he can also go through universes that way. And he shows up and he's like, am I here too late? And the Flash is like, what? He's like, man, I'm sorry. I guess this world has to go, but maybe a few of you, I can save a few of you. Something like that. And then you're like, who is this guy? or whatever, and then you see him in the Superman movie and whatever, continue next. That is the tie-in to say, look, there are different universes, and we can go back and pull. The reason I say that is that it allows you to go back and have a movie like a Spider-Man, right? And pull from that movie and pull certain characters when you need it for your story. Because now you've already told people, hey, even though our world is new and different, there's one person, though, who's in the shadows who can help or bring things together. It's a very simple tie-in, which I think would have made sense. And then, get people in going like, oh, wait. So wait, you're telling me that even like the original Superman movie is kind of tied? It's like, yeah, it is. It's possible. But, I
love that. I love that idea, dude. I think, and the fact you said it's kind of simple, it has to be simple because audiences are not savvy about all this stuff. It literally has to be simple, right? We don't want nobody explaining different Earths and dimensions and multiverses and shit. Like, no, just make it simple. Just put a character who does all the hard work for you. I like that idea, but guess what, Enabong, you're not making the movies, and neither am I.
I know. So my plan is to make tons of money, buy Warner Brothers Superman, make my own Superman movie, completely make my own Superman movie, and be done. Any last thoughts on the trailer before we wrap up?
No, I mean, the biggest thing is the music did give me the feels. I did have feels for it. I know you didn't as much. I would say if I rated the movie the teaser trailer from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to put down a 3.5. 3.5. So basically a 7.
Out of 10? Oh, yeah. 7 out of 10. Okay. I thought you said 3.5 out of 10. I was like, ooh, that's worse than what I was going to go for.
Sorry, 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, let's do it out of 10. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
Okay. I have one last thing before I give my own rating. So okay. You remember the scene where Superman flies in and he saves the little girl? And then there's all those tanks while the kaiju steps?
Yeah.
I don't know why I caught this. But it's really cool. That sequence is a very cool looking sequence. Nothing about the sequence I'm poo-pooing. I caught this, but I was like, maybe I didn't see it properly, but I never went back to look at it. And then somebody on TikTok pointed it out. The girl was casually walking while the kaiju was around. Right? And then I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, why? Why aren't you running? I hope that's not the case, but it just looked like that from frame to frame watching the guy's video. That's why I said my concern with this movie is, are they going to try and set up so many little saving scenes just to show that Superman cares in that fashion? So that's where I'm like, I don't know. But if I were to rate the trailer from a 1 out of 10, I'll give it a 5. Okay. Again, it was meh. It wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't excite me.
It literally didn't excite you at all. You're telling me you didn't get excited at all. I'm just asking.
I didn't. I'm a huge Superman fan, and I did not get excited. I felt like I think maybe because I really like that other version of Superman. My version of Superman are Christopher Reeves and Cavill are like 1A, 1B. Now Taylor Hoechlin, or is that his last name? The guy from CW. His Superman is my number 2 or 3, technically, when you have 1A, 1B. Number 3, Brandon Routh, not from Superman Returns, but from like the Legends of Tomorrow series, 4. And then this right now is just at the bottom because I don't know what I'm getting at this point. But I didn't get anything from it other than, oh, it's cool, And this is I felt sad as a Superman fan because I was trying to get something from it. I was like, there's got to be something that proves me wrong or make me go like, oh, I want to see that. The funny thing is I have not talked about this trailer with my wife. I haven't shown her, which I would. Normally I would. I'd be like, babe, you got to see this, which tells me that it's just done nothing for me at all. And I feel like that's something that Gunn should be fighting for. People like me who, I'm like, look, do your thing. But maybe also because part of me wants the movie to fail, I guess, is a sense.
Oh, damn. I don't.
No, not the. Dare I say this? So let me just rephrase that. Warner Brothers needs to learn a lesson as a studio because I think they've done a lot of very stupid things. A lot of their movies that have done well have more to do with their partners, aka Dune, for instance. Legendary is the one who controls most of the rights to that, the Warner Brothers. So as a studio, they've done so many things to just mess up franchises. A lot of people will talk about, like, you know, the Snyderverse and stuff like that, but you look at the story and how they changed so many things as a studio itself. It just goes a whole long way. I mean, like, you get Ben Affleck to start, you know, almost start drinking again. It's, come on, that's crazy. So I think that as a studio, they need to learn their lesson, in a sense, you know. But you know, that's why I'm not seeing the movie. But you know, I'll digress. I'll let it be. People can go enjoy it. You know, I'm not going to be the party pooper. But that trailer was very, very mid.
Okay, fine. It was better than mid for me, but we have until July 11th for things to change. So that's a long time. 6 months. 6 months.
Go see Fantastic Four.
Woo! Sorry, did I woo it? Yeah, hell yeah. So, anyways,
all right, guys. All right. If you guys enjoyed this, let us know. We will definitely try and do more of these. Maybe once a month, you know.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll try. We'll try.
I mean, definitely when the next trailer drops, it might drop during Super Bowl or around then. We might do a reaction.
I like that.
And you might see Brian just like fully just like ecstatic, and I'll be like this.
It takes a lot to impress Annabong. Let's just be real.
Nah. But Brian, where can people find you though?
You know, if you like tech geek culture, youtube.com/Brian Tong, my name, and just punch in my name and other platforms and I'll show up. So it's always good times, bro. Thanks for having me.
No. Thanks for joining. I mean, like, we still have no structure to this thing. We just jumped on to discuss, and hopefully we can continue this. There's sirens in the background. Hopefully you can't hear that. And you can find me as Border Work everywhere on the internet, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, no OnlyFans. Sorry, apologize. But till next time, enjoy.
All right, see y'all.